going on, YouTube? I figured I would do a little bit of an update video since I turned the fuel pump up on my Kioti CK2610. Last time you saw it, it was at my dad's shop, and we had the loader up and everything with the hood up, and ground the protective cap off the fuel pump screw. So I figured after I just got done mowing my lawn, I'll get the mower off, get the loader back on, put the brush hog on, and go mow the field, and try to give a little bit of a subjective opinion on it. It's not going to be a great comparison because it's not an easy way to do a back-to-back, test visually for the camera. But we'll just try to give everybody my opinion of it, and we'll see how it goes. I gotta warn everybody, getting this loader on and off hasn't exactly been the easiest thing. I've gone through and readjusted the mounts on the frame here a few times and stuff, but it never seems to quite center up. It's like I got one side that lines up good, then the other side won't, and I end up having to kick the pins in. But so it is what it is. It might not be as easy as the John Deere style quick attach loader and stuff, but still works pretty well. Obviously, you just saw how much fun I had getting that on. But what has worked for me is while I've got my left pin in my hand, use my right hand on the loader, get the left pin to kind of line up, fall in place, and then come over here like I did and get the right pin in at the same time you're messing with the left joystick with your left hand. That's been the easiest thing I've found so far. Well, let's get the mower off. So this mower is a 72-inch Sundown, obviously 3-point finish mower. It's kind of an off-brand. I'd never heard of them, but it's the brand that my dealer had sold. And this thing has been fantastic. I've probably got 40 hours out of the 110 that's on it now, just in mowing. And it's done a fantastic job. It's got 3 nice big heavy blades under it. The PTO seems like it's good quality. It's got sealed bearings in the wheels, so you don't have to worry about greasing the wheels, which long term we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Greasable wheels, you can always pump fresh grease in them. But I've just kept the spindles greased, and the mower blade spindles and sharpened the blades once last year. I cleaned everything before I put it away. It's probably due. This is the 4th time I've mowed so far this year, and mulched up a little bit of winter's leftover stuff, so I've got a little bit probably to sharpen up this year. But other than that, this thing's been great. So when I originally got the tractor, I didn't plan on a Kioti. I actually had my heart set on a Bobcat, which, as a lot of people know, it's the same exact tractor with white paint and a little bit different loader. I had ordered Bobcat. My closest dealer is a Bobcat dealer. So I had ordered a CT2025, and the 5 weeks turned into 15 weeks, turned into who knows when we'll have it. And my local Kioti dealer here, Joiner's Equipment, they were about an hour drive from me. I called him up. He had 2 of these in stock with the R14s, which you couldn't get on the Bobcat. And so it was a no-brainer. So that's the route I went. But originally, the Bobcat dealer, when I called them and asked, they said you cannot run a 6-foot finish mower with the 25 horse. I said it's not gonna happen. He's like, you know, dry grass you might be all right, but as soon as you get any sort of damp grass, it's just gonna bog down. It's not gonna have enough power. That is false. This thing has never once bogged with this mower. Last time I mowed actually was 2/3 of it was in the rain. I had already finished it. I wasn't gonna leave it unfinished, you know, and so I mowed most of it in the rain, wet, heavy grass, and it had absolutely 0 issues with having enough PTO horsepower and stuff to run this. So if you're considering doing the 3-point finish mower thing with your 25 horse Kioti or Bobcat, 6 foot's the way to go. Some of you might look at the green brush hog and say, well, this is sacrilege. You can't run a John Deere with a Kioti or vice versa. But I paid $200 for this brush hog. Actually, it might have been less than that. It might have been more like 150. This is a 2005 John Deere LX6. It's the light duty 6-footer. And a guy I know had it, and his neighbor had done him a favor borrowing it, and every time he borrowed it, he would absolutely destroy it. So I got it without the original owner's manual, all the paperwork when it was sold new, everything, and went through and fixed the deck. Found a couple chips in the gearbox, in the teeth in the gearbox, and it was cheaper to buy this Chinese replica gearbox than it was to try to replace the John Deere one or even fix the John Deere one. I think the John Deere one was $1,200, and I'm pretty sure you can buy this brush hog new for $1,500. But I put new blades on it, the pins that the blade pivots on. I had to build some new skid shoes underneath and weld up a few holes and cracks and whatever, but I got like $600 for the whole thing now, and this thing works beautifully. The 6-foot brush hog, depending on what you are going to be using it for, could be too big for this. Last time I used this, there's times where when you're just mowing grass, it's not so bad, but when you would get into some brush, that kind of stuff, it would be enough to bog this down quite a bit. So I'm kind of excited to try it and see how it does now with the power turned up. So let's get to it. I was just in the middle of filming a review on what I thought about turning the power up on my Kioti CK2610 with the brush hog and stuff under load, seeing how it does after adjusting the fuel screw. And I just managed to damage a wheel. So somehow I ran over a stump that I don't remember being there before, and managed to bend the wheel. So not a big deal, tire's still inflated. However, when you drive, you can hear every time you get to that spot on the bottom, you hear it air out. So I just rushed back here to the house before I had the tire go totally flat, and I've got the loader down and the front end up in the air. So I'm gonna get this wheel off, and I'm gonna see if I can fix this thing quick, or if I'm gonna have to go put it in hydraulic press. So I've already had one of these tires fixed once. I don't remember if it was this one or the other side that I had to have plugged. Fortunately, the fronts are not filled. The rears are. The rears have rim guard in them, which makes this job kind of a chore. Hopefully this won't be too bad since it's just an empty tire. Now, worst case scenario, we can always put a tube in it if we need to. I'd rather not if I don't have to, but it is an option. So let's find 17 millimeter. See if the old Milwaukee's got enough nuts to take this off. I knew I should have bought the fuel. I do have to say, front end loader for stuff like that, real convenient. And there she be. Now let's see if we can go beat this thing back straight with a regular hammer, or if I'm going to have to take the tire apart and break it down off the bead and actually press this thing back straight. Let's get to it. So I'm not super well equipped here like I am at my dad's garage. So all I've got is a regular claw hammer, and kind of a crappy one at that. But I'm going to start hitting the side of this rim and see if we can't make any progress. The outer part of the bead right here isn't so much a concern. It's down here. The fact that this, and it's going to be really difficult to see with the camera, but you know, the rest of the bead lays flat, and then this humps up and then goes back to flat. So this is what we're going to try to straighten back out. And actually, you know what? This was way easier than I just thought it would be. It's almost concerning that that was that easy. But at the same time, it also makes me not feel so bad that I crawled over that stump. Now, while the compressor's filling up in the background, I will say, this is the whole reason that when I brush hog, I have the front end loader on. It does help counter, you know, the 600-700 pounds the brush hog is way off the back, yes, but you drive around with the loader down and, you know, not on the ground obviously, but the loader a few inches off the ground, if you do come upon something like this, it usually you'll bump into it with your loader, keeps you from hitting anything with the brush hog or the tires or something that you didn't intend to. Apparently, my luck is so bad that when I was turning left, the bucket must have swung out and around the stump, hence hitting it with the wheel. Now we know. So we'll get this thing aired back up here. These R14s have a max pressure of 44 psi. Right on the money. So now we'll take some soapy water or simple green, and spray that area and make sure it's not leaking. Doesn't look like we got any bubbles. So now I'm gonna clean the back of this wheel off here so everything sits nice and flat on the hub. Clean the hub, and then we'll get it back on the tractor. Fortunately, one of the things that Coyote does that's kind of nice is leaves the studs here. Although, I'm not sure why we can't just use lug nuts and studs for all of it. I hate these wheel bolts. Anybody that's ever worked on a Volkswagen, it's not a Volkswagen purist, no, it's the same thing. So let me tell you, I am definitely not a Volkswagen purist. And those wheel bolt things on the Audis, Volkswagens, Lamborghinis, it sucks. So now I'll let the front end of this back down and snug them down with a ratchet. And of course you always tighten them to the official German torque spec of good and tight. Now let's get back to some brush hogging. Okay, so what you just saw there was as fast as it would go in medium range. Since it didn't even bog down slightly, even with grass that's knee high or so, then let's try high range. See how this does. So overall, I'm pretty impressed. Obviously, like I said before, there is no back-to-back comparison from what we had to what we've got now. But I never in a million years would have dreamed of running high range with the brush hog, a 6-footer at that. Now granted, grass isn't crazy tall. Like I said, it's about a foot to a knee high or so right now. But it's much better than it was. I mean, last summer I brush hogged the ladies' field. It was probably 2 or 3 acres, and it took me hours because it was bogging down, even going slow, like full speed, low range. So this is a much better setup now. So hope you guys enjoyed, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. It definitely helps out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.